the 1950s, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent shluchim to various cities where their spiritual messages were well received. American youth, especially those in colleges and universities, began taking an interest in Judaism. The shluchim could not provide what the youth needed. In 1962, Rabbi Avraham Lipsker, who was learning in 770 at that time, began learning with these young men. Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson Olav Hasholem, who was part of the Hanhola of the yeshiva, loved what Rabbi Lipsker was doing and decided to open a yeshiva program especially for these young men. After receiving the Rebbe's permission, he named the yeshiva Hadar Hatorah.
Towards the end of 1962, entering to 1963, people started to come from all over the world to 770. Weren't sent by anybody, as they would say. They just heard about Lubavitch, heard about 770, heard about the Rebbe, and they would just come in, pop into 770. And they liked what they saw, and they wanted to stay. There was no place for them, no place to eat, no place to sleep for them, but they would just hang out. I don't know what they did. They probably went out to the restaurants and slept on the benches. Many of them did sleep on the benches. Since Rabbi Jacobson was very strongly involved, very encouraging, I guess he decided that I think they gave him a hard time from Dan Hall. Why all these bochrim are hanging out in 770, they're sleeping there, eating there, they're not paying anything. I think that was the pressure. So he went to Rabbi J.J. Echel and said, listen, let's open a yeshiva.
This was one of his pride and joys. This is one of the great, great things that he always looked forward to, and this was the thing that he always used to boast about. And he was very, very happy that he was able to accomplish this. I suppose everybody knows Hadar Hatorah was the first Baal Tshuva yeshiva in the world. He was able to accomplish it and to do not only this, but Morristown was his, and Beis Rivka is his. And the man went through an awful lot of suffering to carry through all the inyonim that were near and dear to the Rebbe.
There was a lot of dedicated people on the staff, and definitely one of them was Rabbi Shalom Novashevsky, who, if you ask around, there were hundreds of fellows, literally, that's not an exaggeration, that he basically nurtured, and he made them what they are. He was a very dedicated man. It was not a 9-to-5 job for him. He had Moshe Shabbos would have, especially in the wintertime, would have Malava Malkas, and he was a very dramatic man, and he made Judaism come alive.
What we can see from this Maisa, we can see what means Emunah in a tzaddik, what means the delightful, holy eyes of a tzaddik, and another thing we are able to learn from it. And the worst situation of life, God forbid. Even you see, God forbid, the sword on your neck. Don't give up your hope to Hashem. On Yeshua as Hashem, the help of God is terrifying immediately. But we have the truth or strong emunah in Hashem.
It's very difficult for a person who doesn't have a yeshiva, who didn't grow up in yeshiva, to fit in. And that can be very taxing on his whole involvement with Yiddishkeit. I feel now in the group of boys that you have learning in yeshiva, there's a very beautiful sense of camaraderie and fellowship and care amongst everybody, a sense of unity. The Anhala, they're laid back, and a person can grow and develop and find out about his, can develop his talents and his skills, find out his feelings about Yiddishkeit. And there's not other places where you can do that. I remember one time I had to daven here because I had a yard site, and a member of my family came. He went away in his pilots. He said, "This is what it's like. I'm sure this is what it's like in Gan Eden."
Which means one person eating meat.
The great honor that I have to be honored tonight by Hadar Hatorah. I feel like the individual who was watching a drowning person from a cruise ship, ended up in the water, saved this person's life, and was asked to make a speech afterwards. He said, I just have one question. Who pushed me? Rabbi Jacobson, Olav Shalom, Rabbi J.J. Hecht, Rabbi Goldberg, Rabbi Vashetsky, Olav Shalom, all of the Hanhala, Rabbi Würzburg, every single person that had a part in pushing me to being a shliach in Berkeley, California for the last 40 years, I would like to say thank you for pushing me.
The Rebbe gave me brachas for success in all my endeavors. And along the way, he gave me many other brachas. And whatever I do for Hadar Hatorah is because Torah is emes, and whatever I do is to help myself and to help other Bacharim to learn the Torah as it says. This is a very important part of the world. And I firmly believe that the more you learn Torah, it's going to help the world and it's going to help everybody. It's a big bracha, and we're going to bring Mashiach.
There was one such story where I had missed the Hasidic shir. I came to davening, and I was expecting Rabbi Goldberg saw me. He comes up to me, and I'm expecting him to say, why weren't you at the Hasidic shir? He takes my arm warmly. He asks if I'm feeling okay, if everything's well, and he genuinely, I could feel and I could hear his genuine concern for me, and that itself taught me a lesson. I've been zocher, I've merited to send several students there, and I hope, please God, to continue to do so. But the Rebbe, of course, said it best: "Demagavoya neshamas." They're very high-level souls. And this is not just the students; this is the faculty, and I'm very grateful for having Hadar Hatorah and continuing to have Hadar Hatorah in my life and to be a part of it.
I came to Hadar Hatorah knowing hardly anything about Yiddishkeit. And not only that, but like some of my other cohorts at the time, I was fairly rough around the edges. My time in Hadar Hatorah sometimes required some polishing and buffing to smooth out those rough edges, and other times maybe more of a rough sanding. But with Rabbi Goldberg, Rabbi Würzburg, Rabbi Ozdeba, Yaakov Silberstein, and the many others who were involved with the yeshiva at that time, they were really able to affect such change in my life, both as a Jew and a chassid, and just on a very human level. When you're surrounded by a hanhala that cares so deeply for you, but at the same time going through an upheaval for the better in your life, that's what makes it feel like a lifetime. That's what makes every moment spent in Hadar Hatorah life-changing. Changing, at least for me, who I was as a person, as a Jew, and as a chassid.
Shalom Aleichem, my name is Ruben Mizrahi, and I am from Caracas, Venezuela, and lived most of my life in Western Florida. And I came to Hadar Hatorah in the year 2019, and I was a bacher there for several years, and I was in Kolo there, and now I continue even as a married man and a working man. I continue to go on Shabbos and spend lots of time there. For me, Hadar Hatorah is one of the most incredible places, one of the most special places I've ever been to. In Hadar Hatorah, I found what I had been looking for all my life, which was to see true, authentic Torah being practically implemented. Meaning to say that it was a place where I actually saw Yidden putting the Torah into their very lives. To me, that's something that I had been looking for, that till this day I have not seen anywhere else in the world like in Hadar Hatorah. And it's clear that it has the Rebbe's brachas. It's clear that the Eibishter dwells there, and in that place I've grown beyond words. It has shown me, in my humble opinion, what to look for, what to strive for, what to try to be like, and how to truly make the Torah real. That we should breathe the Torah, we should live the Torah, and we should be Yidden that are truly trying to connect to the Eibishter, bring Mashiach in a true and real way.
This was, to be exactly, this was Tafshin Lamed Hey Lamed Vov maybe. And the Rebbe answered me, and since then I never questioned anymore. He told me, HaMeisad hu muchach v'chiyuni. Those who know Hebrew, HaMeisad, this institution, muchach is a necessity, v'chiyuni is vital. Ubivadai, and certainly, Yisgabru, they will overcome all the difficulties.